We're back. The Bounty Hunters flies again. And what are we doing tonight, Canadian?
Well, we finally decided to sit down and actually watch this show, and we're going to be giving Skeleton Crew a review.
The Skeleton Crew.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I watched it from start to finish every week. I was there.
You were the producer. You were your setup for this.
And at one stage, my wife even said, "Are we going to put our show on?"
Oh, there you go.
So I wonder where the scale would tip.
So I have 3 children, and my oldest daughter, I couldn't pay her to watch anything Star Wars. She wouldn't bother with it. My oldest son is the one that kind of got me into Star Wars, so he will watch it, but he's clearly at this point kind of like, this is an excuse to spend some time with dad. Like, I don't know how into it he is. And the youngest one is also, but basically same thing with the daughter. He's kind of like, he doesn't have the attention span. So the boys are 13 and 9, I believe, something like that. Anyway, 9-year-old lasts about 30 to 45 seconds in any TV show we try to watch as a family before he either falls asleep or leaves. I will say he came in at a pretty important part in the first episode. It's when they discover what the Jedi Temple really is. And he stayed, I want to say, until the 3rd or 4th episode. Like, he actually watched it, which is kind of surprising.
Wow.
And my son watched it, and I think the 4th episode, I kind of had started cooking dinner anyway, so I finished up the rest without them. But he said he wanted to watch it. Like, he kept saying he wanted to watch it. So the show is 100% made for children, and I can confirm that I've tried to watch multiple Star Wars shows with both those children. And the oldest one watched most of them. The youngest one will not. And he at least watched at least a good 2-3 episodes of it without even throwing a fit. So I'd say that's a job well done. And I'd say congratulations to Star Wars remembered why they're making TV shows. It's 1978 all over again. And they finally remembered, oh, wait, I hadn't even looked. I guess I should have looked. I haven't looked to see if this is a professional writer with a professional producer and a professional director, but it sure felt like it was.
It's so John Watts. It was the showrunner. He directed the finale in the first. John Watts is known for the most recent Spider-Man trilogy of movies, and a lot of his movies are he pays a lot of homage and inspirations from 80s films like Ferris Bueller and
shocking.
Yeah, but you can see where you get some ideas in this one. Possibly Goonies, possibly Treasure Planet, possibly a bunch of stuff.
Skipping school.
And I would say again, I know we reviewed a lot of shows, and that's been my main complaint is that you have $100 million budget, and you can't even get a person who's ever wrote a TV show before or directed. It's always they have a blog, and they check a box. Let's be honest. And this one felt to me like a professional production company was involved, which is crazy because we're talking about Disney here, and it felt like it was. I'm not saying that it was the greatest what do you call it, graphics ever or the greatest CGI. It was just a fun kid story, and I enjoyed every episode. I don't think I really have anything. Ladies and gentlemen, I have nothing to complain about.
Wow.
They got the second show to have no complaints, I think, from him.
I have nothing to complain about. Nothing. Because anything I would have complained about is kid show stuff. Like I said to you guys before, the pirates are comically inept, but they're supposed to be. It's a kid show. Right. They're not supposed to be actually stab the little girl in the first episode and throw her off into the space. They're supposed to be comically silly.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Blackbeard.
All right, so before we get into full, I want to bring up, because you mentioned how it looked, the production, the budget of the show. By the way, I'll give you some context. The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett both cost around $100 million each.
I don't understand how Book of Boba Fett cost that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no idea how it cost that much.
Huh?
Oh, total or per episode?
Per season.
Oh, right, per season. Okay.
Now,
don't you justify that?
Context.
Don't you justify this because for a season?
Context outside that. This show. Sorry, before I say the budget of this show, I'll say the other one. Andor was the highest budget of $250 million.
Don't know how they spent that either.
I don't know how that is there either. Acolyte was $200 million.
Oh wow!
Who was?
Acolyte.
Some show they canceled. I don't know. Now, can you imagine where the budget of this falls into it?
The pirate scene, maybe, with all the different set pieces. It goes.
I'd say 150 to 2.
Close.
So I would say, I would say because they had to build that set, then
they did reuse a lot of sets, though. You notice they did reuse a lot. 136 million.
That's a 125 was going to be my guess. So I'm a little low. I guess that's just the cost of doing business these days. I guess these Hollywood people know how to really stick it to people because I can't believe
Jude Law probably is like, I'm gonna need that 36.
Well,
I'm gonna
Jude
need
Law was probably hefty, and he needed to be because honestly the kids weren't too bad. Like they were pretty good. Jude Law carried it. I mean, come on, he's like
before we get into it, we gotta see Kachun's opinion because he was there from the get go. He started it. I want to get your general thoughts first.
I mean, I was into it from the start, and as I said, my wife was too. You know, it had a beginning and an end and a middle, and
what
it's you, sir. It sits there kind of in the Star Wars universe, but kind of on the periphery.
Mm-hmm.
And you just keep seeing little bits here and little bits there. I kept thinking in the first couple episodes about what's his species name?
The Ortolan,
should have had no arms, and
I'm gonna bring that up.
I explained the whole thing with my wife, and she was like,
"Get over it.
This is supposed to be a kids' show. You think what would happen if he showed up on screen with no arms? Like the kids would freak out. So he had to have arms for the kids. So
he did." And somebody needs to get over it. The Canadian above you needs to get over it.
You didn't need to.
But I enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm of that era. I love Goonies, so it was like that. A bit like that movie, Super 8 as well. That was kind of like Goonies too, but a little bit more modern. That was a Spielberg film.
At some parts of this, I'm not gonna say it's a shot for shot remake, but Jesus, they even threw in like the slide bit from Goonies. I'm like, wow, you guys went really homage on this, and Spielberg get involved. Like, holy cow!
No, and I was annoyed at times with that one character, but overall, I think
which character?
Little Wim guy.
Wim, okay,
yeah. He was just useless.
Now I gotta pull this up here because I get the answer. What is his name? I kept hearing it as Wen, like when.
No, it's Wim.
I thought it was Wim.
Wim?
It is. It's Wim, like WIM.
Like a wimp?
No, WIM. Well, I cheat because we usually watch with the.
Oh, you got the subtitles going.
Yeah, it helps. Obviously, it really does help when you see characters that come in and it starts when they start talking. It'll put their name there, and you're like, "Oh, wow, that's good to know."
I like to usually watch it with headphones on for that exact reason because I can hear stuff better. Like I can hear them little under their breath stuff easier than when I can on a TV.
Yeah,
it's Whim. See, the funny thing is, I actually thought Neil, is that his name, the elephant boy?
Yep.
I actually thought at times he got a little bit obnoxious just because he was like always like, "Oh, guys, we can just be peaceful." And it was like after like the 18th time, I was like, "All right, we get it. Like you're a nice kid. Like stop."
Yeah, they obviously all four of them had quirks of the group.
Yeah, it was. My favorite was what was her name?
KB.
KB, that was my favorite character. I like that character.
I was gonna say, especially near the end of the series, I thought she was the best one, probably to me.
Yeah,
I think she created one of those mod shops when she got older.
Don't ruin her. I just said she's my favorite character.
Oh no.
Okay, so before we start talking about how you like it, let's have. I do want to say something about the show. I will say this now. Disney's Disney, so I don't think they picked everything they picked without a reason. Okay, I do think the reason why the toughest person on the show was a girl. I do think one of the girls had two moms. I do think pretty much every kid was a kid of color. I have no doubt they did it on purpose. However, this is my childhood. This is how you do it. Every one of those characters could have been played by anybody, from an alien to a boy to a girl to whatever you. They all had their issues. They were all kind of a deep character for different reasons. And it wasn't in your face. It was just like the girl. She had two moms. She just happened to have two moms. That's how we want it in life. They just happen to be there. They didn't have to spend 20 minutes talking about the hardships of having two moms. She just happened to have two moms. Awesome. Like the girl, the same girl, she had a handicap at the end. You found out that she has some special needs type situation. They didn't make it a huge deal. She just said, hey, I can't always do the things that you want to do. And the girl was like, I'm so glad you told me. Hug it out. And I was like, that's how you used to solve it back in the day in these TV shows. It was like these little things. You didn't even know you were getting a life lesson. I think it was done perfectly. The dad, he was a very smart. What's up?
That part of the episode was one of my favorite parts. That whole section there.
The kid's dad was a very smart, like black guy. He just happened to be a super smart, kind of a good dad who's just trying to make it. His wife had died or something happened to her. Hey, what's up, Gallant? And he happened to be there. He wasn't. There was no like weird conversation about it. Didn't make it awkward. It was just a really fun show. And like I said, they obviously picked characters that like anybody could have been. If you had changed one of them to an alien or something, it would have been perfect. I thought the whole thing was awesome. All the parents coming together. You do have that moment where it's like, where are the parents? But like, if you watch any 80s TV show, that you could say that about every single show, including the Goonies, where the hell are the parents? And I just say kudos. I think that is how you get some stories across. You have kids learn a lesson about like accepting people and doing everything else without beating them over the head. I thought it was greatly done. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a really well-written show when it comes to that. Now, I'm old. So for me, that's how all my TV shows used to be. So I was like, yeah, this looks pretty good to me. So like, I thought it was great. And that's all I have to say is, but I thought it was well done when it comes to like teaching kids lessons without having to like beat it down to the ground. Like, thought it was good.
For me, again, I also really enjoyed the series. I was surprised. I was going into it. I was skeptical about being good at all. I was pleasantly surprised that the kids acted like kids. They weren't wannabe adults like, oh, Toei and the kids act like adults. They played as kids. They had their strengths. They had their weaknesses. Each of the kids, I did enjoy aspects of all of them. The KB was interesting to me because I also wondered, like, why would you actively lowbot yourself? Why would you want to be like that? And then by the end, I was like, oh, and then she takes the thing over. I'm like, oh, so she has it partly. And by the end of it being revealed, she just got into an accident. And then they had to put her like this, and now she's stuck disabled like that. But it doesn't like let her rule her. I'm like, oh, I really enjoy that aspect. That's really interesting. The parents were good. I will say though, Wen's dad, what a nerd. That guy was a massive nerd. I was getting annoyed by him.
He had the biggest glasses.
Oh, and the voice and the
those things were huge. But he was down.
He was the level 7 system coordinator.
I am the level 7 systems clearance.
Yeah, not 1, 2, 3, or 4. He was level 7, my friend. Understand that.
And crawling around.
The respect on his name.
Area. I thought this show did it well, where the globe trotting aspect, them going different places, was done well. It wasn't extremely ridiculous or wasn't anything like too much. They did a good job, like a balance of everything. I felt. That planet where they went to for the relaxation planet, as soon as they arrived, I was getting flashbacks to the episode of Mandalorian with Jack Black, and I was like, oh no. But this was a good episode. 3 things of note in my mind. Obviously, Jude Law, I thought was phenomenal. He did a great job in it. He definitely carried a lot of the show, especially near the end. I was really enjoying everything with his character. We can get into it more. The droid was great. I thought I wasn't going to care about him at all, but that was good. That accent, even though he had the thickest piratey accent given to him, it was crossing the line of corny, but it was a kid's show, so you forgave it. Like it was, where are you getting that pirate accent from 18th century America? So that was it. I would say one thing that comes to mind just right now. I just laugh at that took me out of it was when they're like, oh. Captain Dread, like the original leader, here's what he looks like and he literally is just a 17th century pirate.
Yeah.
They covered out his face so you wouldn't see like the black beard or any of that stuff. He's just like, "Arr." I was like, woo! I was like waiting for just like an alien dressed in a pirate outfit. I was not waiting for.
I thought the droid was really well done. It's the first time in a while because they try to make droids the humor, and it doesn't always work. Hey, cutie kid, thanks for lurking. It doesn't always work. They did this one really well done. And what I'm also happy about it, I felt like they take all the corny one-liners that they normally give to kids, and it's hard for kids to act tough, and it's hard for kids to be funny when they're that young. They're just too young. They don't understand it. And instead, they moved a lot of the corny one-liners to the pirate robot.
Makes sense.
Droid. Sorry. And he was so already over the top with his pirate accent and being silly that it actually worked better because it was just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it also did take me out if they try to make one of the kids like super try to be funny all the time and he just doesn't know how to deliver the jokes.
No.
So I thought that was also a great decision that they did. They made it
that. And for me, our favorite parts of the series was that scene where they're trying to get into the brain of the memory banks of the droid. And he just snaps, and he's like, "Oh," and like ready to like kill the kids.
Yeah,
that was a great. I really enjoyed that scene. That was good.
Was he 33 similar to the robot in Rogue One?
K2. I was wondering. There's some similarities there, except not as dry humor and dry like.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that he's a droid, and most Star Wars droids can be taken out pretty fast, but he's apparently the greatest boxing droid the world has ever seen because he takes that
switch in the back though.
Yeah, he had the turn off switch in the back. I mean, other than just kind of breaking down different moments of it, if you like Star Wars, I think you will enjoy it. Understand that it is a kid show. There is no reality. There's no based on anything. Like I said, the kids very. But man, again, like you were saying, the kids are kids. Like they're kids. They don't try to make them too old. They don't try to make them.
It's not
too
like
funny,
they were trying to do it in Leia and Kenobi, where they made her like do all this outlandish stuff as an adult would.
Right.
But like, because
they were kids
younger than they are there, right?
Like Ka-Chung said, the young man Wim, I guess kind of the star of the show. They kind of focused on him at the beginning, but then I kind of feel like they all had their little moment. Yeah. He was borderline annoying because he was like so imagined, he would break into a sword fight for no reason by himself, an imaginary sword fight, and like a little kid. And no point anyone were like I said, that goes back to like the 80s and the 90s, where at the point like the tough girl, the tough bad girl whose mom is the leader. I mean, it's very obvious what was going to happen there. At the end, she's like breaking down, saying, I can't lead. I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like all of them had their little.
I realized that was a great scene too. That was great. Yeah. I guess first off, the overseer, the leader of this planet.
I got
how this planet is, and then being a forge, which is really interesting because I guess New Republic's making bank now. They're. I
was gonna say, doesn't that kind of crash their whole system?
Those hyperspace lanes are funded now, man. They're
yeah, like once the at the end, once the good guys show up and the X-Wings are flying everywhere, and I'm sitting there going, no, like in my head, I'm thinking, you got to blow the planet up. You can't just unleash like hundreds of years worth of printing money onto the economy. That's going to crash the galactic economy. Like you can't just unleash all this money.
Hey, New Republic doesn't know how to run a government. We know that. So
I was thinking at that vulnerable point at the end, maybe someone like Thrawn swoops in and just grabs it all and funds his new order.
He pulls a Goldfinger and Fort Knox.
I bet you there will be a show in the future that there'll be some offhand mention of how is he funding all this or something, and then somebody will mention that planet or something. Some stuff got lost when they were trying to like secure it or something. Something got lost, but they did a good job. They did a good job with that because when you're watching the planet, it's a utopia, and as Star Wars fans, we know something's wrong because no planet in the Star Wars galaxy is a utopia. There's something wrong, and when you saw like the bots being nice but not being nice, like they're like, "Oh, have a great day, keep walking," like they were just like very serious. I was like, "This is creepy," and then like the mom was being creepy, and you didn't get it, but how they landed the plane was actually pretty good. Like I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't just some kind of weird thing. It was
because I was wondering. I thought it was going to be like if after Fallout New Vegas or anything, but like Mr. House and that is like he's this big figure of the city, but he's actually just like a hundreds of years old man in like a cryostasis thing. I thought it was gonna be like something was in like a Bacta tank that's controlling the place through their mind, not expecting a giant droid network to be actually running the whole planet.
It gave the funny part Imperial vibes. It did.
Yes. Oh, that line! That was my favorite line in the entire show when Jude Law is there. He's like, "Oh, well, I'm the Republic. I'm the Jedi." And it's like, "Can you answer one question then for me? Are you a liaison or a Jedi?" Because the last transmission we got was that the Jedi were traitors to the Republic, and he's like, "Oh, that was a phenomenal moment."
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a celebrity here amongst us.
My God.
By the great Barbarian Kung Fu.
But yeah, that's cool.
I did think that they were going to try to pull. I mean, obviously, Jude Law's character can do Jedi type things. Nothing.
So that was the other thing I wanted to pull up.
I said that I was like, okay, they're going to do something stupid. He's got like some kind of mag lift in his boots or something stupid, and I thought they were going to pull that. And then when he told the story, I was like, okay, that explains it. But here's the thing. Disney, stop. Just make him a bad guy. He doesn't have to have some sad story. Just make him a bad guy. Like, he doesn't need to be like, oh, they don't love me. Just make him a bad guy. Like, he doesn't need to be all that.
All bad guys think they're doing good, though.
Yeah, that's the best kind of bad guy. Well, evil is good, but evil who thinks
say sometimes evil for no good reason is also very enjoyable.
Yeah. I was happy with it because I was wondering the whole thing too. Like, okay, the joke of he's doing the tricks and whatnot, and as it went, like he's just subtly doing the stuff to himself, and it's like, okay, what is the deal? And I was not sure at all what they were gonna do because I'm like, he left, but then, like watching how he used the lightsaber, I'm like, oh, he has no idea what he's doing with it. He's just swinging like a bat. So I'm like, okay. And then when he obviously reveals his story, I'm like, oh, I appreciate that. He was just taught how to use the Force a bit and like the way it works. But then the person was killed by Inquisitors or whatever. And he's just like, well, back to being a street urchin. And now I can get some of those apples off the table from far away and they won't bother me.
Yeah, and it was also very clever because you could see why he could use that. Like, it was obvious that no one else in his crew thought that he was a Jedi. Nobody mentioned it.
No.
And he didn't use it until it was like he had a ship, like he was saying. And he used it to get like, a key or something off the story to follow the story. But he kind of kept it like that. Like if I need a hidden dagger or something in an emergency, I can pull one out, but I'm not doing anything too crazy. So like it also made sense.
They were traitors. So if he let it out, he get locked
and
up.
His crew also would turn him in about a half a second too.
Absolutely. It was a really abrupt ending to me. That was my only other complaints I'd have for the show. Would be how abrupt that ending was. Where like I'm gonna say Tantive. I can't remember the name of the ship. Once it arrives in there, and it just quickly pans up, and we're just talking about the Skeleton Crew Star Wars ship that came out. So when the ship comes in, pans up to the moon, it ends. I'm like, wait a minute, we got a lot of stuff here that's we need to resolve. But at the same time, apparently there might be a season 2. I don't know why or how.
What in the world would you need a season 2?
I don't know. I think if they do, they're gonna learn all the wrong mistakes. So I don't think they should do it. They should just leave it as is.
Yeah, they definitely should.
But I thought that ending was just really abrupt. Like there was a lot of stuff that was left weirdly open.
From a different angle, maybe. I don't know. Maybe from one of the other planets, or in that system, whatever the system was.
If you, I'll probably get hate, but if you watch a TV show that has kids, and you try to follow them, because the TV shows take a lot of time to produce and stuff. So you take something like Stranger Things. Those kids are 72 years old, and it looks ridiculous that they're still trying to make them like they're young, and it's so ridiculous, and they're so different, and it's not a good look to me. And then sometimes like kids are you can kind of forgive bad acting a little bit when they're kids, because they're kids and but when they become adults and they think that they're actors because they've been an actor since they were 7, even if it's for one TV show, then it's even more noticeable when they're like 16 or 17. So that'd be the only thing is 30-year-old high school students. Exactly. That'd be the only thing that would concern me, is if you're going to follow these particular kids' journey it would be a little bit like, I don't know how that's going to go. So you might have to.
Humans are like cats, they're cute when they're little, but then they got to grow up.
Yeah, they got to grow up then. So if you had Jude Law, which obviously is I think all three of us, I don't know, Kachung didn't say anything, but Jude Law's character, if you're following his story for the second part, then that could work. That could work. But I don't know if the kids need to be involved. I will ask you this question. Since you're an elephant-loving species person, what is the deal with the baths? Every time that kid had 2 seconds alone, he jumped into the bathtub.
Wait. So first off, yeah, that's my biggest complaint. No, my biggest complaint. They got arms, man. They shouldn't have arms. The greatest debate: the reptilians should have no arms, just legs. You know what? That almost stopped me from watching the show. I took a lot of strength in me.
What if your keyboard player was just a deformed person? You're getting mad and telling your whole species they're wrong because your favorite person was just one of the birth defect.
You know what? Then that even worse because then because they never acknowledge it. They never acknowledge his disability. So it is what it is.
How do you do, fellow kids? He
has it right there.
Yeah. Hey, fellow young people, how is it going?
And he had bubbles in his bath too.
Yeah, so the bubbles in his bath, having a bubble
that
bath,
was to keep it PG.
I have no idea.
That was to keep it PG. You know what those bubbles are hiding. They were trying to hide the skin bits.
So here's what made me laugh was like the bubble bath and like the little ones. That was funny. But at the end, when like they get under house arrest, he's still having the bubble bath. I'm like, what is he doing?
Right, that's my thought.
But the little brothers, very cute. Watching the holiday special, that was very nice.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you notice the holiday special?
They were watching the holiday special, the circus.
My son said, "What is that? That is kind of weird." I said, "That's the holiday special." He said, "What is that?" I said, "Don't worry about it. You're never gonna know." Probably.
Wherever I had my score at for the series, I had to step it down because of the arms being there. But then when I saw them watching now, I'm like, you know what? I might balance the scales out here a little bit.
That was so surprising.
The meme.
Yeah, basically.
We were watching that, and my wife had no idea what I was talking about.
There should be an extended version on like the extra section for that. 100%.
I just wonder why like Disney allowed that. Like they've worked so hard to pretend like that never happened, and you almost do. Like it's not the creepiest part of that show, but it's up there. It's like top 4.
They acknowledge Life Day, the event and the holiday and such, but they don't mention anything else. Just Life Day and his family. Nothing else involved in that. And now this time we bring up the circus. So now we're getting there. We're slowly getting to VR adult entertainment in these.
It's becoming canon.
Okay, so like a few things. It's part of the show. So it's part of the show, so it has to be. But like, if you like, all the parents knew that the whole point of the planet was they were, if you haven't watched the show, you're going to figure it out pretty quick. But they were basically for the whole time. We don't know how long, but of a very long time. Well, I guess we kind of do last transition. So 30 years or whatever. Mm-hmm. They've been producing gold credits, the whole time, just nonstop producing gold credits. So, you're sitting literally on a treasure of unspeakable wealth. Some random, scraggly, dirty, suspicious guy with not a nothing kind of insignia, nothing on him shows up, goes, yeah. Bring the gold, put on my ship. And you guys are like, well, I guess he's here. Like, that was so weird, first off.
Because he had the lightsaber.
But I will say the part that I did also appreciate, which I guess I've seen that a lot, is the X-Wings were badasses. Like, and I felt like a while now, they've kind of made them bumbling idiots. And when the X-Wings showed up, people were like scared of the X-Wings. And the X-Wings took on the entire Empire, basically, and brought the Empire to his knees with a bunch of X-Wings. And now they're actually showing up and destroying things. I'm like, thank you for making the X-Wings powerful again. That was the whole point back in the day.
I'm sure if there was a TIE fighter screech, Kachun would have increased his score.
Oh,
my God. Yeah.
He dropped it a whole point because there's no TIE fighter screech.
At that time,
I wanted to mention because you just recalled them. We said the X-Wings, the Y-Wings having the Rebels, the Y-Wings, sorry, the B-Wings, having the Rebels 4-way blast.
When were they there?
Charge from the Rebels show that we haven't seen yet.
Oh, the super laser blast thing, yeah. which was pretty awesome because they were tearing stuff up with that thing. That was pretty awesome.
Most of those pirates didn't deserve it.
Yeah, well, they were also bumbling it, so they're just like, "Oh, let's get back on our ship that's on fire and crashing into the planet." I was like, "Why are y'all getting back on the ship?"
We still haven't seen another ship with lightsabers on it, like from Andor.
Oh,
with lightsaber. Oh, with his whatever. Oh, we haven't knowledge that yet. That's
a different level of awesomeness when you have the lightsabers on the side of your ship shooting off stuff. So yeah, for me, I don't know. I'm sure we'll probably do a score. Chung really loves the scores. I just think it's been a long time since I feel like I've watched a show. It's a little long because it's 9 episodes, so I don't know how many kids will want to watch. I mean, if you watch it one a week or whatever,
7 episodes.
Yeah, so it's a little bit long, but I just thought it was great fun. Like, watch it for yourself. If you have kids, nephew, nieces, things, watch it with them. It's like watching the Goonies. It's like watching old school 80s silliness. Don't expect there to be some kind of crazy canon thing in there. It's just for fun and giggles. Literally, there's one thing where they're like the Goonies. They're going down to a cave to find the pirate's treasure. I'm not kidding. And they find the pirate's treasure thing, and they're trying to figure out. And he says, "Don't touch anything because there's going to be booby trapped." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Goonies! Like, are you serious right now?" Right. To the point where, by the way, it takes a lot of nerve. There was like this. They found out there's like this seat that just collapses, and you can fall down there. And they're like, "Whoa, that was close." And when they find out that they have to make a quick getaway, they hit the button and they all jump down the hole. Well, they have no idea where that hole's going. It could have been a spikes. They have no idea.
The spikes in the ceiling of the other room.
Yes, or the pool of acid that he told them to throw back up.
You know, it's funny when that part happened. They're like reading the thing off the ceiling, and like, oh, the ultimate like sacrifice, and they have the symbol, like the credit symbol, right in the middle. Which is what you have right there, and I'm like, I wonder if it's credits.
But then they jump down in the hole and they start going in the never-ending slide, just like the Goonies instead, which I thought was funny because the Goonies had a very cool splash, and then you see a big pirate ship. And this one, they just get thrown. By the way, awfully hard. Good job, stunt people, because those kids got shot out of that thing onto the ground hard. I was like, dang, they hit that ground hard.
And shout out to the episode 4 of the trash compactor. They ended up in the trash world. It was basically like Alita Battle Angel, whatever it is, where they're in that dumpster of a planet below everything that's really rich and the hotel or whatever it is up.
Yeah,
where all that trash is coming from.
Basically,
there was one scene where the ship they got there to get to the planet we're talking about starts getting eaten by some sort of machine that eats trash. I have no idea what was going on with that thing. And its teeth were like dragging, and they don't ever hit the button. So they hit the button, and a bunch of explosion on the ship comes, and then it comes out of like a locust out of a cocoon. And I was like, what is the point of this? I was so confused by the new ship coming out of the old ship. I was like, what?
Toy money, more toys.
Oh, don't get me started. My son looked over at me twice while I was laughing at the droid. He said, "Are you gonna get that Black Series?" I said, "Shh, we're not gonna talk about Black Series right now. We're not talking about it right now."
Come with the little rat.
It better.
The rat. What was the deal with the rat?
I don't know what that was. I kept thinking they were going to have a big reveal with that rat. He was just like, no, he's just chilling. He's just a rat.
I was
waiting for it to start speaking in basic.
But yeah, like I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. I thought it was a great, awesome show, and you should watch it as soon as you can. I think you'll enjoy it.
And if Neil didn't have arms, he wouldn't have been able to climb that ladder.
Then Randy wouldn't have been
No. You
upside down.
You mistake it. He would 100% use his trunk to hold on as he was.
No, the trunk. Like he went to the trunk thing.
Okay.
Like I said, I think my favorite character is not even close. I just thought the way she even looked, the KB in the beginning, she looked cool. Like I liked her little like pinkish purplish hair or whatever. I liked her little visor she kept putting down.
Her low bot situation.
Yeah, her low bot. Like I said, the character arc of her is one that she was kind of like the smartest person there. She got him out of a lot of jams, but in the end, you find out she was just really, really kind of hurting because people didn't realize she can't do what she can do anymore. She had to kind of fake it. And she's actually literally putting herself life in danger. Like she could die because she just didn't want to tell her friend, I can't do that anymore. I don't really know what the elephant's character arc was because he was just kind of The mama's boy that kept being the mama's boy. I guess he got braver at the end, but he was just kind of
braver.
He was like he was the conscience, I guess, of the group. He kept telling everybody we should all just get along.
Yeah,
he was adorable though. Like he was an adorable little character. I thought he did a good job with him.
You got the girl. You got
Fern was very much like Han Solo a little bit.
Yeah, that's her character. She's supposed to be. Yeah, she's supposed to be like that. And then the main fella, Whim. I guess I feel bad though for Whim. Whim's character arc kind of made me feel bad because he's like an innocent kid who just wants to have fun. He wants to meet Jedi. He got forced into like a really bad way. And at the end, they're like, "Yeah, now go back home." Like, and he's the only one that actually wanted the adventure. And like, the only thing you can get out of it, it's time to grow up, kid. Stop living in imaginations. Like that was his character arc, like growing up. And I was like, oh, that kind of sucks.
At least you know he's gonna become an X-wing pilot. He looks up at the sky and he stares at the X-wings.
Yep, he becomes a pilot, I'm sure.
But I mean, obviously, that's the whole point. It was like coming of age story. It was kids, they were taking this big test that like puts them into how Empire was that? How level of Empire was that? You take a test, and whatever you get on this test will say what you are forever. Like this is who you are. You'll
be level 3 technician. you never live up to your father's level of 7.
And it's kind of like like a graduation from a high school or going into high school. That was you're no longer a kid. You're now.
What happens? What's the lowest job you can get? Considering there are droids going around doing all like the dirty. Like there's no janitors. The droids are doing that. Droids are doing all the dirty work. So what is the lowest? What if you flunk the test? What's the lowest thing you can get?
Somebody's got to clean the droid's joints. Maybe you got like a Q-tip.
Oh, you're the degreeser. You're the degreaser.
Yeah, you're the degreaser guy.
You get kicked out Tatooine and
you get sent out
or something.
You gotta lower them into the oil baths or whatever. That's your job.
The
oil bath changer.
The oil rigger. You're the rigger.
Okay, well let's go. Did you give it a score?
Yeah, I thought just below an 8. I think for me, 7.9, something like that. It was around 80%. Pretty good.
I always love that you go off like these full percentiles, like between a rank of 100.
7.9.
Well, now you got to upgrade yours to 100, rank of 100. Keep it level.
Damn.
What do you have for that Canadian?
I would give it probably a 7. Aim closer to a 7.5, but I'd say it's
known as
great.
A 700.
Yeah, great. I give an 8 if he had no arms. But 7 is where I landed at.
I would say overall for me, same. But I'm gonna change mine. So I would probably say maybe even a little bit higher, 7, 8. I'd probably say 8. Yeah. I'm gonna go 8 to 8.5, maybe even higher than that, because out of the 3 of us, I have 2 little boys that I watched the show with, and I saw them pay attention. I saw them laugh when they were supposed to laugh. They were kind of into it. They were asking questions. They were doing stuff. And so for me, having that moment with my kids watching it, and I haven't got to have that a long time with Star Wars, by the way, Star Wars. I know you're not listening, but at the end of the day, somebody keeps giving me copyright strikes. But at the end of the day, like, I missed that. I missed having that moment with the kids. So for me, it's gonna, it'd take up to like an 8.5 or something.
Yeah.
And I know like the show itself, no, I mean, it's a silly kid show, but having that moment with the kids, like, and having it to be a kid show, it got a little higher score for me.
What if you'd never seen anything Star Wars ever, and you watched this as your first Star Wars show? Do you think it's a good introduction to Star Wars?
Honestly, probably, because again, when they even do stuff like
I'll do that actually.
When they show off the X-wings, when they first see them on the moon, it's like you're kind of in this mindset where the kids are, because the kids don't know anything outside their planet, the little things of the Jedi. They've never even seen stars before. So like wherever, like what you're actually kind of perfectly placed with them. Obviously, there's still going to be little things no matter what. Star Wars is a lot of stuff, but it'll give you a better. It would probably be a good introduction if you want to not watch. If you didn't want to watch one of the movies, if you had to watch something else, it would be a good introduction in my mind.
I would say that this show would not make you a Star Wars fan. Yes, I think the show was written as a standalone. You can watch this show not having no idea what Star Wars is, and it just comes off as now you would be lost a little bit, I think, on some of the parts, because there is a lot of insider baseball that goes on.
Right.
But at this point, if you live on this planet and you don't have at least a 10% knowledge of Star Wars, you have to be trying not to have a 10% knowledge of Star Wars.
You say you wouldn't become a Star Wars fan of this, possibly for the best.
Yeah, it could be. Right. But I think that you could watch this. Like my wife knows Star. She was a band nerd, so let's be honest, she knows Star Wars, but she doesn't know Star Wars like we know Star Wars, obviously. And like you said, your wife, she's one of us, not us, but she's close to us. She knows the nerdum. And I think you could watch. I think you could watch this not knowing anything, and it would just be like a silly, fantasy story that was pretty good.
I think more so than Kenobi. If you came into Kenobi, you're like, what the hell is this?
Why you guys say Kenobi when that show of your favorite character was way worse? So why are you throwing Kenobi underneath the bus?
What about Bucket of Boba Fett?
It's the first time you see it. It'd be just
the first time you see that diaper on Boba that you're telling me you'd be like, this is the show for me. No, you wouldn't.
Why can't that guy drive his own ship?
Why can't he drive his own ship?
However,
he took his license.
When I saw, we'll do one more and then we'll wrap it up. When I saw those kids riding their hover bikes, I was laughing way harder, and my son was looking at me funny, like, what's so funny about these kids riding it? Because I could not stop thinking about those idiots in the Book of Boba, what they're like. It's so over the top.
The Vespa gang.
It's like whoever did this had to smile themselves because they're like, we're gonna make this a bicycle that happens to float, basically, and we're not gonna do all that corny stuff that was happening on Boba Fett. And they just made a pretty cool bicycle. Like it wasn't.
Right.
Cutie Kid said you got to interview the kids off screen and let us know what they said.
Yeah, I saw that. I definitely will.
Boy asks. I hope they don't do a second season, not because it was good, but because I feel like they'll learn the wrong lessons by going to a second season, and they'll probably end up not doing well.
Yeah.
I might even ruin the characters. Who knows?
The fact that he mentioned he was trained by Jedi, it could have been any Jedi, honestly. Yeah. I'm sure that people online have been like, who is this?
Oh, God.
It could have been anyone. I mean, there were thousands of Jedi, probably. So,
I mean, possibly like a one-shot comic where you get like a little backstory of him could be cool. But like it's something simple like that. Nothing grandiose or whole other season for it.
I think we got our pirate, most of his life.
So I just consulted the experts, and my oldest one, who is a Star Wars fan, said 8.5. His favorite part was the robot by far.
Yep.
And my youngest one said, I don't know, like a 7.4, but he seemed as disinterested in my question as he does for anything. So I don't even know if he knows.
Probably a 7.
He knows fractions, so that's good.
That's the one I'm keeping our eye on for future police entanglements. Is that one the one that said 7.4? But yes, the one that I think he's also very critical because he's of the age of 13. So he also thinks everything isn't cool and everything is stupid. And he said 8.5. So that's pretty high, I think, for that age group of everything is corny. So there you go.
Nice.
2 random.
Has he seen Goonies?
I don't know if they made all the way through. I think they fell asleep because they were pretty young when we tried to get them to watch it. We might have to watch
seen Treasure Planet?
I've never seen Treasure Planet. I never even heard of Treasure Planet.
The Disney animated movie, like sci-fi pirate.
Oh, I have. Okay, I have watched it. Then I didn't realize it was the animation
from that movie with.
They did. Yeah,
they did a lot, especially the planet being shrouded behind the field and having the treasure of the planet there, obviously. So.
I was thinking like a lot
pirate
of
leader being so nice, but everything secretly,
Yeah, man, I have to watch that again. That's been forever. So I watched that on the Wonder World of Disney when I was a kid, like on a Saturday morning or something. That's when I watched that.
Oh man.
Well, all right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. I am so glad that we're here to do a review, and it is positive from the beginning to end.
Yeah,
there isn't
for once.
Name calling between the three of us. Or
the next TV series that come out is Andor season 2. So hopefully we just keep going back up, and then I think it's Vision season 3 after that.